Well, we are back for part two of our time for two. I just love that. I just love that. We hope you enjoyed this session as we enjoyed taping it, recording
Yeah,
it.
right.
I know I laugh a lot. I'm just a happy person, so y'all gonna have to forgive this happy soul because I just love life and my husband.
Oh, yeah, that's so sweet.
All right, Bishop, what you want to say, Bishop?
Just welcome back. I'm glad you came back. Hopefully, you enjoyed the first part of it, and just trying to share some of our life experiences, and along with Dr. Linda Jones, trying to help us understand those life
Mhm.
experiences and how it binds us together and helps us to go further than 43 years, which we'll be celebrating next month. And we felt and from throughout through my wife's vision that this would be beneficial to somebody, because we do get those questions sometime about how we manage to last 43. People say 43 years. Yeah, 43 years. Yeah, and
And that's nothing.
yeah,
That's nothing
yeah.
compared to
No,
some.
that is something. don't, don't, that is something that
I guess for
when
you because you're not on the rooftop.
well, right. I'm not. Thank you, Jesus. Because the Bible do say it's better for a man to be on the rooftop than in the house with a nagging woman.
Well,
But
in our fifth year of marriage, I guess I wasn't nagging.
yeah, you was something else
Yeah,
the first
we'll
five
talk about that
years.
later, y'all.
Yeah, but thank God, for this time and just want to share. All right, we'll see you online.
He is a loner. So there's not a whole lot that we're going to say as a result. But I'm so glad that he doesn't wear a mask. I'm so glad that he is still transparent. He's just transparent, limited, So as a result, a little bit, yes, indeed. And so as a result, he needs quiet time too to accomplish his goals, to regenerate, and to do all of that. Some people may look at that as procrastination, but you know what? That's building up our confidence. Knowing that when we're about to conquer, because we're perfectionists. Melancholies are perfectionists. They want everything perfect and in place. Fortunately, thank God, that he gives us space to be imperfect, that we can become more like Jesus. And
Well,
so the more we learn,
I wanted to interject because it kind of surprised me because I did haven't reviewed her total what is that
her temperament,
temperament, but
yes,
I thought that particular trait in inclusion um, and showing up on both of our um, um, temperaments, that kind of surprised me.
wow.
Um, you
Wow,
know,
she comes across as the Energizer Bunny, huh?
she does. She does. What do you call that? The caloric in her. It's
The
just,
caloric, that's
yeah,
right.
you said when she comes in, she just takes over, and that is more on display. That's why I saw the quiet time, and when I looked at it, we talked about it earlier, and we discussed it. I says, well, you're that way now.
Mm.
It's more dominant now than what it was when we first started dating, which is
Talking about the quiet time.
the quiet time, because I really never saw that. She said, "Well, I was like that in
I was
at
like that in
home,
high school.
in high school, but see, I didn't know her that way, and that goes into a long story because we dated 3 times before they said 3 times a charm. Well, the first and second time, that was while she was in high school, and I really, after the first time, I didn't really want to be bothered anymore. I figured I'd try again. Second time, I found out I still didn't want to be bothered. It was after high school that I said, okay, well, maybe we'll try this again at the leading of the Lord. And the third time, worked out. One for the Father, one for the Son, one for the Holy Ghost. But anyway, um, and so that as you know, with that, I never saw that quiet time, even after we got married, because she was always out there.
I didn't go anywhere though.
Yeah, but you know, in the social gatherings, you were always the life of the party. So
yeah, because I used to sing. I was singing ever since I was 12, so I was always on. Somebody would say the stage,
right.
So, but I was always on that. I got to make sure I look at the camera. I've been looking down here.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, talk to the people there. Talk to Linda there.
Yes. So I always was always in the front. So, but and you're right. After everything is over, I just want to go somewhere and just be quiet, And quiet to me doesn't mean I have to be alone.
Right.
I would like to sit and we could just sit and just watch a movie or do something as long as it's quiet.
So that equates to our time.
For two.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And let me say this, because your gift, because you are phenomenal, and your voice, and you draw people. You actually have a magnetic force in your gift. So people are going to draw to you regardless. But it doesn't mean that because they do, you're going to steal, even after you're so sweet and so kind and so nice. In your heart and mind, you're saying, okay, oh, I can't wait to get to that room. Oh, and just sit still and sit quiet, because a lot of times when we are melancholies, that's what happens. And again, but our gift takes us places. And sometimes if we don't be careful, it can be learned behavior. And so we will tire ourselves out, because the learned behavior is what's expected of us, what people expect us to do. And we still try to keep up, the momentum, keep up the energy, keep up the strength. And hopefully and prayerfully they're in connection with one another, because if one should leave before the other one does, we're in trouble. But yes, sometimes that's learned behavior.
So, honey, you share one of yours.
Because I'm not as transparent as you, I'll do the same one. No.
Oh. You are going to do the same one,
right? Here you go. Because I'm not transparent as she is, I'm going to pick one that I don't mind sharing.
I love you so much. I love you both. So.
And that's number 7, just to give you a guide, because you got the same thing I got. You know I'm going to pick that one, right? Okay, I'll let everybody else in on this. This is high intellectual energies. He is a compulsive thinker. He has a mind that will not shut off. He also has the ability to see pictures and images in his mind. This causes him to continually relive the past. I guess that's positive and negative there, but mostly positive. And that is true, because I constantly think, always trying to devise, strategize, and that it really, that to some degree explains the career choice that I made, which was being a systems analyst, because that forces you to think through problems, and particularly, they're presented with a problem, and then I have to fix it.
Yeah, that was me. He was presented with a problem, and then he has to fix it. He didn't tell you. He asked God, said, she needs to know what real love is. He said, what about you?
That's true.
You're a fixer.
That's true.
Well, let's not call you a problem. Let's call you a project.
So
So you was his God-given project. Praise the Lord.
and see, a lot of people don't understand the third time of dating, and I'll interject this. The third time that we dated was because she was going through a difficult time. I saw it, and I said
With another guy. I don't want nobody to think
well,
it was my family.
I didn't want to.
Well, you know,
go there,
I don't
but
want nobody to think my family was having troubles.
no. Uh, so I said that she really needs to have somebody show her what real love was. And as I was saying that in my mind, the Lord spoke to me and said, "Why not you show her what real love
Wow.
is?" And
Wow.
I said, "God, I've been down that road twice. I tried dating this young lady twice, and it didn't work.
Starting all over again. It's gonna be rough."
And the Lord told me, this is the truth. The Lord spoke to me and said, "I didn't ask you to date her. I asked you to be her friend." And that's how the third cycle, if you want to call it that, began. I befriended her. And that led into a relationship developing, which has lasted for 43 plus years. So,
All right.
and I've been knowing her since she was
12.
Was it 12?
Yes.
I met you in 72. No, it wasn't.
I was 12.
No, I met you in 74. So you was 14.
I was 14.
Right. You was 14.
Okay.
I was too old for you.
And I wasn't thinking about you either.
So you waited for her. So you waited? Did you wait for her?
I waited.
He worked for me. Like,
oh, don't mess up. Oh my God. That's interesting. Because I was reading about Jacob today.
Then I would have had to deal with Leah.
That's it. Woo.
But anyway, but that's just an interesting story. Because people say, well, how did y'all end up staying together for so long? And it was truly this is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. But again, the thing is after that, when I met her, and really, I didn't start dating her till she was about 15 and a half, 16, whatever it was. And those 2 times, 3 times went quick. You know, I think it happened between 16 and 18. But anyway, but I had to learn her and discover. So I had a lot of things that I didn't know while she was in high school, like quiet time, because I saw her always being the life of the party.
Can we talk about you now?
I'm sorry. High intellect. High intellectual entities. And as I said, you know, a compulsive thinker I am, you know, I'm constantly thinking, evaluating, analyzing. That's just what I do. That's just me. And I think that what that does is also play into number one, being introverted, because I need the quiet time, and during the quiet time, I think through things. I need my space to think, you know, and I think that sometimes that becomes a predominant thing with me. I don't do a lot to go out to be around folk because I like my time to think. That's just the way I am, you know. So, and again, I think that again, as far as
18 hours out the day, and I can get the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, in our early years, that's all I did was work. So I worked 18 hours a day, pretty much, anywhere between 14 and 18. But anyway, so again, what that and that's another killer on your relationship too, because the simple fact is, you know, in our early years, I worked a whole lot, you know, to try to keep.
Tell the truth. You worked and you went to church.
That's true. That's what I did. That's true. That was detrimental to our relationship too. All work and no play makes, you know,
Johnny a dull boy.
Johnny a very, very dull. And I had to learn that the hard way. But again, and that but see, you got to balance that too. Because of who I am, I can't allow that to shut her out. Knowing that about me, I can't allow that to shut her out, and I have to come out of that to make sure that I include her, in my world.
And that's amazing because you said something, Dr. Linda. You can elaborate. Um, when we went over it before the show, is that when you said it earlier though, how God will take this and use it for His glory. And sometimes we don't know that, and we didn't know that, but as we got mature in the Lord, He noticed it. And so help us with that. So how
Notice what?
that you were spending more time with other things than me.
Right.
Absolutely. And because of the fact that sometimes that when we understand who God had created us to be from the inside, and knowing that even the person that we are married to, and they may be different or they may be the same, but because we're never the same and exactly the same, even if we have the same or along the same lines of temperament, because we have spirits, we have a different spirit and soul within us. And so as a result, we have to understand what our spouse, in this case, husband, wife, what we each need and what God has given each of us to meet those particular needs, And so again, we can't get away from that. No, we don't marry somebody that's going to make us happy, because if we don't have the capacity to be happy, nobody's ever going to make us happy. Mm-hmm. But the other side of that is if there's that unmet need as far as companionship, intimacy and those things, God actually orchestrated Adam and Eve. Adam didn't give him an agenda. He didn't tell him what kind of woman he wanted and what he wanted her to look like and all of that. God decided that. And see, that's the portion within the equation that I love, when someone says God gave me, or God told me, or God shared with me, or showed me this individual. Because when people come to me and they want to get married, I said, did you hear from God? That's my first, did you hear from God? Because if you haven't heard from God, you may be going around the mulberry bush, or the merry-go-round or the carousel. Hey, so you've got to really hear from God. And then when you've heard from God, we may have our differences, but God knows how to blend them together. Let me talk about for a second what Bishop has said, because he is a private person. He is a loner. You think, well, God, how did you make him a bishop if he's so private and he's a loner? But guess what? That was the gift. Bishop Pricks is a gift from God. And so it's an elevation, because God knows how to use us. He can use a donkey if he wants to. He can use whatever he wants to. And so as a result, when he empowers us with what he wants us to have to be what he's ordained for us to be, our temperament yields. And so the more mature, the more perfect, the more complete we become, because we're maturing, the more we are able to please him. The Bible says we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. So the more we see Jesus, the more we know him, the more we understand him, the more we can become more like him. And so his gift in being the bishop, a bishop, and we go down the line of what a bishop is, you don't find bishops out there on, you could. Bodily exercise profited little. I was thinking about a basketball player. I've seen some bishops out there playing basketball, but it's okay in their leisure time. But your husband is one of those persons that he loves, sitting down, studying, looking at things to help and bless God's people, because that's what God has empowered him to do. And so as a result, he's a thinker. Oh my God, he sees pictures in his mind. He can play a picture with his eyes open. You know why? Because melancholies have the capability of doing that. And so as a result, so the things that he grew from yesterday, they will help him tomorrow, because guess what? He can go over it in his mind. And he can perfect it as he goes along. So it makes a difference. And so as a result, yes, when we learn how to surrender and redirect our energies for the glory of God. Just because you're a lion or you're an owl, you give your life to the Lord. You're still that lion and that owl. You just learn how to redirect your energies so that God can get the glory from it.
We hope that our time for two blessed you and your spouse in a tremendous way. And we pray that God's blessing is on your life as you go forward.
But before we leave, if your spouse is with you, we want to speak over our marriages. Life and death are in the tongue. So we want to speak over our marriages. So it's a call and response. So my husband is going to begin, and then I'm going to respond to what he says.
So now follow along. Our marriage is blessed.
Beyond measure.
Our marriage is strong.
Together, but as one.
Now let's seal it with a kiss.
Yes. One. See you next
week. All right.
For so long, the world says he can't be faithful now, he can't be true.